we're going to start with the easiest collar, the one for the back.
Okay, so now we're going to knit the collar for the sweater. We found out, well, I found out the hard way, that the stitches and hold disappeared over 5 stitches. So when I do my math calculations on how wide the collar should be, I lost almost an inch, which made the collar that I made not fit. So had to take a time out, and I came back and I removed the shoulder seam. Hi, Pepper. The shoulder seam on a circular needle. I then very carefully picked up every single one of those stitches that was in hold, and I figured out which of the stitches were lost in the waste yarn. So I moved them all over and I found those 5 stitches. So we are going to knit a collar that fits just on the back. We're going to miter it inward just on the edges so that we don't have a frilly or a misshapen collar. We should do at least 7 to 8 rows for each half of this collar, and we're going to use tension 4 instead of tension 5. And I'm going to start, of course, with waste yarn and cast on comb. We do not put the back on first, we put the back on last when we're done. Deep breath. Let's get moving. Start with waste yarn in the carriage. You want to push every second needle out of work. So I'm actually going to do 24 and 24, that way it works out evenly. So with the waste yarn, I'm going to bring up an extra. We're going to knit across and then put the cast on comb on. So you knit across, clip your yarn, bring cast on comb, stab it into the work, free it up a little bit, bring the stitches forward, put some weight on the cast on comb. And it doesn't matter what weight you put on the cast on comb, just so we're clear. Knitting across. Sorry, it doesn't matter what tension you have. It doesn't matter how much weight you put on, just put some on. Knit another row. Now I'm going to move that 1 stitch over to make it 24 and 24. That one's out of work. 5 or 6 rows of waste yarn. That looks pretty good. Loop on purpose so we can easily disconnect it. And knit across. Here's my scissors. Okay, I gotta rethread my orange yarn, and then we'll be back. Okay, I normally instruct you to E-wrap, but in this case we're not going to E-wrap, we're just going to knit across. Tension 4. And we're going to knit 2 rows. Now we're going to move the last 3 stitches inward. Move that one out of work. Last 3 stitches inward. Of course, it's being silly. Okay, knit 2 rows. Last 3 stitches inward. Knit 2 rows. Inward. Knit 2 rows. Okay, so this is number 8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to up our tension to 10. We're going to knit 1 row. Reset our row counter to 0s. Reset our tension to 4. Knit 1 row. Now we're going to move outward. So now we will take our last 3 stitches and move them out. Move the inside purl and then move it out. Move the purl. Knit 2 rows. Last 3 stitches. Move them out. Move the purl bump. Purl bump. Okay, knit 2. Move the stitches. Purl bump. Purl bump. Knit 2. Look at it, looks pretty good. Taking a deep breath, we are now going to lift the first row of knitting onto the work, and then we're going to knit 2 rows. So take some claw weights on each end. One in the middle. You can actually take your one from the middle. holds down the center. Move your other weights. Remove your cast on comb. Look at the piece. And hang each stitch back on the needle. We want to pull them all the way out. Now we are going to do something similar with the front, but we're going to do the miter all the way at the center. Just going to hang that on there. Okay, moving them all together. Back up to tension 5. Knit 2 rows. Okay. Now we introduce the back. So, right side to the bed. Make sure that you have your stitch. The less pressure the back is under, the more stitches you will be able to find. Now, depending on if you could find all of the stitches that were missing, you might be one short, you might be one long. Just make sure that you make them match. It's okay to double up at the center. This is also the time where you have any yarn tails, you tuck them in. So this yarn tail, we will weave it in. Okay, so I have 3 stitches. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, and double up the last one. Bring them all forward. Knit 1 row at tension 10. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually knit 1 more row. And then I will latch tool it off. Because it's a V-neck, I can do that. Do not go all the way back with the bulky. You don't have to. Especially with this yarn because it's so thin. Ooh, that one didn't quite close. I forgot to weave in that 1 yarn tail, so I will do that now. Not a big deal. Okay. So this yarn tail would have come up onto there. I will be back. Okay, so I weave that one in. We're now going to move forward. And now we are going to just latch tool them off. Remove your weight. And make sure that you are working towards the side that you stopped on, because otherwise it would end poorly. Almost there, last 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pulling this one just a little bit. Making sure that's knit off. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. So we have a nice miter on both sides, which pulls in the collar just slightly, and it has a good fold over, so it's not poofy. And now we're going to do the same thing for the front. Now the front is just a little bit larger than the back, and we'll do it in a second video.
Okay, we're going to call it for this video, and we'll come back with the next collar.